It's time for the Way Black History Fact. Today's Way Black History Fact is sponsored by Underground Beach Club. From the streets to the beach, for the latest in beachwear, visit undergroundbeachclub.com. And today, we're going to be sharing a story from the Equal Justice Initiative. This is the story of the 21 Black boys that burned to death after being locked in segregated and neglected Arkansas reform school. So on March 5th, 1959, 21 Black teenagers died in a building fire after being left alone and locked inside of their dormitory at a neglected and segregated reform school in Arkansas. The children were living at the Negro Boys Industrial Schools, the NBIS, a juvenile work farm located just outside the predominantly Black town of Wrightsville, Arkansas. Boys between the age of 13 and 17 who were orphaned, homeless, or considered delinquent because of extremely minor crimes were sent to live at NBIS. At the time, any action by a Black person that threatened the racial hierarchy could be deemed criminal. One boy had been sent to NBIS for riding a white boy's bicycle, even though the white boy's mother told law enforcement that the Black boy had permission to do so. Another Black boy had been sent to the NBIS for a Halloween prank, soaping windows. The disparities between the segregated white reform schools and Black reform schools in Arkansas could not have been more evident. White institutions were predominantly geared toward education, treating white boys like students and teaching them vocational skills like carpentry and metalwork. Meanwhile, the boys at NBIS were treated like prisoners and subjected to manual labor, forced to farm around the school. The Black teenagers at NBIS were also forced to live in horrifically dangerous conditions, even prior to this fire. When a sociologist toured NBIS in 1956, 3 years before the deadly fire, he reported appalling conditions. Quote, "Many boys go for days with only rags as clothes," he wrote. He goes on to say, "More than half of them wear neither socks nor underwear. It is not uncommon to see youths going for weeks without bathing or changing clothes," unquote. The water at the school was also considered undrinkable. The night of the fire at NBIS, the boys' dormitory was completely abandoned by staff members and was locked from the outside, as it was each night, making it impossible for the 21 Black teenagers to escape. While 48 of the Black teenagers in the dormitory that night managed to break their way out of the burning building by jumping out of a window, 21 teenagers remained trapped and burned to death. A committee investigated the fire, but no one was ever held responsible. Today, the Arkansas Department of Corrections runs an adult prison called the Wrightsville Unit on the land where NBIS was formerly located. Though Black people make up only 15% of the population of Arkansas, they constitute 42% of the prison population, including 38% of the population in the Wrightsville Unit. So, I know that is a grim story to share with you, but again, it's important to understand context. It's important to understand generational traumas, and it's important to understand how these things can get away from you. If you were thinking, okay, this was a reform school, all these children were bad, and you don't have context, then you don't know that Black kids playing and sharing a bike with permission by the mother is one of the reasons that these children ended up in this school. And it just kind of goes to show the regard for Black life, certainly in the South, in this country, once upon a time. And, you know, of course, it continues. Again, toward the end here, we're saying that Black people make up 15% of the population in Arkansas, but 42% of the prison population, which to me suggests over-policing, unfair judicial sentencing, and a lack of distribution of resources. You know, poverty begets crime, not race. And so some more food for thought for you. So bear it in mind.